Hey, this is Mike. I've got a couple things I want to share with you. I've been having an awesome couple of days. So yesterday I'm driving down the interstate and I'm starting to leave a big old cloud of smoke behind my Corvette. It's so bad I can't even see the cars behind me. And I'm thinking about just outrunning the fire till I run out of gas, you know what I mean? But then I decided, what the hell, if I die, I die. So I went ahead and pulled off the side of the road, killed the engine, jumped out, popped the hood, and smoke's boiling everywhere. Well, after about 15 minutes, when the smoke cleared away, it turns out that one of my power steering hoses busted. So it's out of fluid. I fired it up, took the next exit, made a U-turn, drove it back to the house with no fluid in it. Ordered me a new power steering pump and power steering hoses. And today I got in here and I decided that I was going to go ahead and get it ready, do some work on it. So I pulled it up into the garage. Now, to get to this power steering pump, the first thing that was in the way was the alternator. So I took the adjustment bolt out. I took the bolt out of the bracket that it sits in, and I just kind of leaned it over here to the side, making sure the wires didn't touch anything. No, I didn't unhook the battery or nothing. I prefer the fun. So to get the power steering pump out of there, it was much easier just to pull the fan. I put two of the fan bolts back on just so my pulley doesn't come off. And there are two bolts that hold the power steering pump on, and they are right here where I'm pointing this flashlight, right next to the timing cover. You got those two bolts. And then, which is really hard to see, you've got this little bracket down here that the bolt goes through that you can adjust the tension on the belt. So I took the two bolts out of the front of the block first, let it hang on this tension bolt, and then once I got it off, I was able to pull the pump out of there. Took it down to O'Reilly's where I had ordered another one. I used their tool right there in the store to get this pulley off of my old pump and put it right back on my new pump. I brought my wrenches with me, a bag of them, so I had whatever sizes I needed for their puller. Okay, I got the pump in with the belt on, all the bolts tight. Used my pry bar to get the tensioner nut tight, and the belt, you can only turn it about halfway around, so I'm pretty sure that I got the tension just about right. It's not easy. It's a pain in the butt to get it in there, but I guess if it was easy, your girlfriend could have done it after she ran your bath water. But next, let's move on to the alternator. Okay, these two bolts next to the timing cover, they are 9/16. And the one that holds the bracket to the power steering unit is 15 millimeter. So I guess the power steering unit's probably made in China. Okay, we've got the alternator back into position. It's got one bolt underneath the bottom under here, and I haven't quite tightened it up. I've left it a little loose, and I got this bolt in up here. I put the belt on it, and I want to get a little tension on it with my pry bar and pull it back towards me. Now, I'm going to have to hold it back while I tension it up. And again, I want this belt I want all belts to only twist about halfway. If you can twist them more than halfway, then they're too loose. So I'm gonna put the phone down, tighten up the alternator. And the alternator is in. I got the tensioner bolt tight and the bolt underneath to the bracket tight. My belt has a decent amount of tension on it. I'm okay with it. But if you notice, my adjustment is all the way at the end of my bracket. I can't tighten it up anymore if the belt stretches any. Now this is the belt that was on the car when I bought it, so I'm not expecting it to stretch anymore. But it would be a good idea to get a belt shorter by maybe an inch or two to back me up on this adjustment. If you notice, the power steering pump has a red cap in it. That's because when you order a new power steering pump, they don't give you a new cap to go with it. I guess it's made somewhere else. I didn't think about it. And my cap is laying on the side of I-10 somewhere. So I got to go back inside and order another cap. Hopefully I can pick it up tomorrow when I do the hoses underneath, so I can bleed all the air out of the lines and have a cap to keep it clean. For now, I'm just going to leave that red cap in there so nothing falls in there. Now the last thing I've got to do this evening is put this fan back on, which is just 4 half-inch bolts. Actually, they're studs with nuts on them, but same difference. All right, the fan's back on, bolts are tight. After I dropped 3 of them, crawled around under the car for 5 minutes, they're tight. Torque, I have no idea. Are they tight? Yeah, they are millwright tight. I've been working on cars all my life. I just know how tight they should be, what they feel like. I would say they're probably around 45 foot-pounds, something like that. I haven't looked it up. Don't follow that as a rule and sue me for your bolts breaking. It's just a guess. Like I said, they're millwright tight. After all, breaking bolts off and drilling them out is half the fun of working on cars. So anyway, that's back together. Next, I'm going to put the lines on underneath, put a cap in there, put some fluid in it, and bleed the system out.